Yes, once again, welcome to the show we call Shoot the Messenger podcast. There I am here, AJ, with you. As always, Kendra, say hello.
Hello.
All right, welcome to the show, Sunday edition. One day late, dollar short.
Well, it matches with what we've got going on in our lives. So it's a Sunday, a special Sunday evening episode.
Right. Okay, let's catch them up real quick. What do you got going on in your lives? What are we doing? Why are we late? Explain.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Well, I'll reserve early Saturday for you, but late Saturday we went to our local community theater production and got to see what West Shore Community
local,
College.
though,
well,
right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not really. It was a travel for us, but we went and saw West Shore Community College's Little Shop of Horrors on Saturday. So we got to experience the plant, and it was like Day of the Triffids all over again. If you've been listening to our show,
Dave the Triffids. That's a bad movie review drop right there. I like that.
Exactly.
Stage rotated. Didn't know what happened, and they start walking on the stage, and the stage would rotate as they were walking, so they'd stay in the same spot. And I got to hand it to the director, Michelle, for doing a great job. So it looked really, really good. And it's really nice to just be able to sit and enjoy a show after working and trying to put a show up. So and that's what we did for 5 hours on Saturday. Of course, all these performances this spring, they've been losing like a week of school, and we talk about this every week, but it's a bad weather, and I'm looking right now, it's pretty shitty out.
More bad weather.
Pretty bad out right now. And also during the week, I got this little cut right here above my head. I was trying to show the kids the importance of backstage safety, and I bashed my face. We took some of that liquid skin, and we put it over the top after a couple Band-Aids, and it's deep. It's a deep cut, but I think it's going to heal pretty good. Liquid skin is like any cut I get right now, like some Sporin and some of that liquid. It's like super glue. You just get the liquid skin, just paint right over that, and it'll just hold it together. That
is what you got to go with, I understand, but Kendra should not be your nurse.
Why not? Oh, no. I forgot.
You already forgot.
Okay, so you want to tell it? Yeah, okay. So I asked Kendra, I'm like, hey, you're pretty good at arts and crafts. You do this a lot. Can you patch me up? Patch me up. My face is, I was bleeding. Like, blood was dripping on the stage. And, like, we did 2 Band-Aids crisscrossed on my face. And I looked like Bane for a minute.
It was pretty bad. So AJ got home and he asked if we could.
Yeah, and she said yes. She said I could. She looked at me. She goes, I can handle it.
I was adamant I could, and I did. I got the butterfly closure on, and then you looked at me and you asked a very valid question, which was, when should we put on the liquid skin?
Probably before the Band-Aids.
Yeah. And
Kendra looked at me like this.
And then I dropped to the ground.
And then she passed out. And then she fainted. I got a bloody thing coming down my face. It's supposed to be about me. And then you pass out. And I don't know what you're doing, because you're just like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know when to put the skin in anyway. And you're just making this face like, yeah. And everything just shut. And then you grab the edge of she grabbed like the corner of the bathroom, and she like kind of swung around, and then you hit your head a little bit.
I did.
You got a little bruise.
I totally goose-egged myself.
Makeup does wonderful things.
It does. It's completely covered up, but it's a little yellow right where I hit my head.
Let's begin the show, shall we? Welcome, and thank you everybody listening and spending their time with us. We are available on several different platforms, one of them being the Twitch network, which we broadcast live. Feel free to follow us there. You can also subscribe if you're a Twitch Prime member, or Amazon Prime if you have that. You can use that subscription and get a free Twitch Prime subscription on the True Snout network, which is what that is, which is where we broadcast the show live. I mean, this podcast is live. I don't know if you know that. It's a one-shot, Sally. We're not taking it back to the editing room and chopping stuff up. We do it live.
It's all raw.
Everything is raw, and that's why I like it. It's real deal. It's as it happens. Some of these podcasts you listen to, 2 hours curated, this and that. Now we just cream through it. We're used to live. We like live.
Exactly. It's in the spirit of live radio.
And we got your mic fixed this week. Maybe a lot less echo. We're pointing different directions. Did a little, there's a lot to freaking think about when you're doing these things. Where else can they catch us, Kendra?
You can also check us out on our own website. Shootthemessenger.net is where you can check us online. We're on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere else you'd like to download your podcast. We should be there.
Okay, good. I have a grip. Check us out. Facebook is fine too. You can hit us up individually if you want to get in touch with us there. Always looking for bad movie reviews. Any kind of review. Any feedback is good right now. We'll take
it. Absolutely. Get in contact with us. We're
okay.
ready.
All right. So speaking of ready, now, Hollywood used to be out there a lot. and you get these sets in these movie shoots, right? Okay, let's start off with this guy right here. Where's my OBS at? Okay, so this guy, Logic, the rapper.
Okay,
Are you familiar with him?
I've heard of him.
Okay, he does this music video here, and okay, the place looks pretty cool. It kind of looks familiar though. You see this? It's got the white panels on the ceiling, and it's a big open space, right? Okay. I was like, wait, okay, we started doing some digging, and like, where else have we seen it? This is a brand new video from Half Alive, Feel Still. Look at this. I'll turn it down a little bit.
There it is again.
There it is again. It's it's the same little space here. Like, and I'm like, no, I've known. By the way, the choreography is really good.
This isn't OK Go, is it?
No, it's not OK Go.
Didn't OK Go have a video here too?
I don't think so.
Oh,
but it's a lot like OK Go. Their dance moves. So there you have it again. Just to kind of drive this home, Jake Paul.
Oh, even Jake Paul's getting in on the
this is the place
warehouse
to be.
action.
Imagine this. You rent the space. Like, I've created the coolest rentable space around alive. Oh, get out of here. Sorry about that. I Jake Paul. Okay, a few more. Sorry. Okay. But evidently, so you have the plot. Okay, they're jamming out. They're in the space, right? This is where you shoot music videos. Just to throw them all up here. Here you go. You got Batman. It was actually in Batman as well.
Yeah, now that you say that, it looks like it was his lair, right? It was the scientific lair part.
Yeah, I think it was his garage. Batman's not his bat cave, but his garage.
Yeah.
You also had some, some Super Junior, some Korean groups getting in on this, like coming to the Americas and filming there. But this space is available for rent. Oh, sorry, one more. Even an anime getting in on it, right? Sorry.
Meme-tastic, I guess.
It is meme-tastic. I mean, all of a sudden, this space is everywhere. Look at that. They actually drew the space in an anime. It's famous. And what we discovered is that, like all things, enough money, you can rent the space. There it is. Kind of nice. Weddings and venues would be kind of cheap. What?
$385 an hour.
Okay. It says 8-hour minimum. So tacking that up, 3 times 8, what, 2,400? Just about, maybe a little over, maybe 2,600.
Well, I mean, get your money's worth. Full day. It's going to be a full day venue.
Yeah, it's closer to $400 an hour than 3. Yeah, full day, huh? So look at that. You can actually do this. And it's just interesting that you see these places up for rent and everybody chooses the same venue,
Well, and I think that it becomes is something that's so popular, like to see that anime really drove home how popular the space is and how cool it looks, that even the animators are getting in on the action.
I know, it does look cool. I mean, what you find is like, you see the piping and the stuff, but a lot of these movies and stuff do a real good job of like getting that out of there, right? And just kind of clearing the space. So there you go. Pretty cool. Don't you like it?
I do. I really like it. I mean, and it also makes me think about the fact that there's a lot of space. You forget how often spaces are rented for use and how many venues are out there. And so I mean, if we were in LA, this would be a really like popular venue, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Outstanding locations, staff and site were excellent, super helpful. That would be cool just to kind of own a space that's very rentable. They actually have these little kind of conventions where people can go to if you have rentable space for the movie industry. You show up there. Oh. You're like, oh, okay, take us out and book us for your filming gig. And this is probably definitely there for the past few years. I mean, we've seen this space show up time and time again. When will it show up next? I'm not sure. I don't know if you noticed today, Kendra, the background. We brought back the cat in space. I had some feedback from one of the listeners, said he just loved the first episode where the cat was in space. So we brought him back. There he is, enjoying his cup of coffee. Speaking of hot beverage.
Hot beverage.
What are you drinking?
I've got some throat coat here this evening. I'm off the caffeine now. I had a cup of coffee before the show, but I'm off the caffeine.
Forever?
No, right until bedtime. Okay. Until I have to wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking energy positive tea right now. So, hey, I don't want the caffeine either. Let's move on.
All right.
Random acts of violence. Have you ever been involved with a random act of violence, Kendra?
I not as random as this random act of violence.
I'm talking about like when we were kids, like with your brother or sister. This is kind of random to what we're about to witness here. But I was involved in an instance almost exactly like this. Just a FYI.
Kidding.
Let's play the video and let's comment like a good YouTuber should. See, we see this guy here talking smack, and you see this punch, boom. And when it happens, the guy tries to punch the guy. Another guy reaches in and grabs the punch. Just strictly palms the punch.
Just
And
absorbs the impact in his hand of just like.
And the kid was so defeated that he just, in the hat that threw the punch, just walks away. Yeah, kind of like seeps into the bushes like Homer Simpson here.
I love the guy that catches the punch. Not only does he catch the punch, but then he looks at the guy and points at him like, I'm watching you.
No, it's a good look. It's classic. Oh, he's amazed. The guy who caught the punch is like, I just caught that punch. And you know who you're messing with. Oh man, that is such a great punch catch. So I threw one of punches at my friend, a weak punch. Never throw a weak punch. And it was caught by one of my friends at a young age. And I called him Superman and I started bowing. I'm like, Superman, ah! I wasn't, it was a play punch.
Yeah,
it wasn't like really. But yeah, so knowing your role and knowing when, I just think the guy's face on that was so great.
It's really great
because even he was amazed he caught the punch. Oh, and like we said, we'll leave all the links in the description below. So if you want to check any of these videos out for yourself, you can go ahead and check those out.
You should.
A little palate cleanser here. I know that wasn't too much of a topic, but the ultimate dog communicating with cat. Dog sees cat. Okay, cat is in the dog's spot. The dog doesn't know what to do. We see the dog walking here, right? He's like, you, cat,
be sweet.
Leave. Get out. You leave.
Go.
You leave.
With his head, just kind of nudge away.
You, cat, go.
Go.
And he's hitting the cat with his nose and then pointing the direction in which the cat needs to leave. The cat is indifferent. The dog then grabs a toy. Doesn't work. He's go. Have you ever seen a Lassie moment so incredible though? Like he's really telling the cat to really telling the cat to just get out of there.
Well, and this is like a smaller dog too, so it's not like a large dog that's up against this cat.
Well, we got a little Dotson. It's like the long-haired Dotson that we saw last week. This is a short-haired Dotson. And he can't, and does the cat move? No, the cat doesn't move. Why?
Gives no fucks.
Because that's what the cat does. Thank you, listeners at home. But speaking of domesticated animals, sometimes you think, cats are a lot like raccoons.
Ooh.
You ever think, well, look at this guy.
Those little trash pandas with thumbs, man.
And that's what makes him so human-esque, right?
Those thumbs.
This guy keeps a raccoon, right? Tito the raccoon has become somewhat internet famous, okay? There he is, Tito, just going on his daily walk on a leash, right? They kind of get like little balls of like evil. Raccoons do. There's the raccoon.
They're
you
wild
see
animals. Yeah.
You see playing with a Rubik's cube. Obviously needs a lot of attention there, right? For a wild animal to behave. You can only imagine it going through the cupboards and being able to like go throughout your entire house. And he's got a ferret too.
Of course, he has a ferret too.
He's got a raccoon and a ferret, and I wanted to get a raccoon after this. I was like, maybe that's a good idea. But then, like anything, you can reaffirm your beliefs with a simple Google search. So we Googled it, people. 10 reasons why you shouldn't keep a raccoon. So here we go, Kendra. Why can't you keep a raccoon in the United States? You got a couple for me?
Well, it's unethical. It's unethical. They're wild animals.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be living in your home.
And in Canada, it's illegal, too.
Yes.
Not only unethical, it's illegal in Canada. I'm not sure about the states. They have some, state-to-state regulations, but
exactly.
Yeah. Illegal and unethical. Why unethical, though?
Well, they need the space in the natural environment. These really are animals that need the natural environment. To rip it out of its natural environment and then put it in this artificial environment, you're kind of creating a lose-lose situation if that animal were to not be a part of your family at some point in the future. Like, it's not going to survive out in the wild as well. So it's cruel.
They also say they will bite. Your raccoon will bite because they're notorious for it. Not if or no, they're gonna bite your family member, your kid. It's a pet, and when they sexually mature at 6 months of age, they become very, very aggressive. Anybody who has a cat who's been pre-spayed or pre-neutered, like once you get them neutered, they totally
chill right out.
Excuse me, they totally change and chill. So yeah. Also, raccoons can be messy. They eat, they wash, they massage the food first, so it kind of gets the food everywhere.
Yeah.
There's an old story about somebody leaving out a bunch of eggs for the raccoons, and they try to wash them and they try to break them on the bowls, and the eggs just kind of disappear into nothing. So they're like, what? So yeah, there's that. So raccoons can be messy. Any other? There's 10 reasons.
They're
Kendra.
parasitic. They carry infectious diseases, not only things like rabies, but also worms, eggs of larvae. So they're not. It's dirty.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty. Just keep a cat, man. If you really want to do that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's nearly impossible to litter train a raccoon. Like, so you're gonna have little bathroom messes. They don't really take domestication that well. You can't take it to the vet. Not very many veterinarians like working with raccoons.
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, I mean, imagine how many raccoons. I mean, I see people hating on raccoons, treating them like trash, and shooting raccoons, getting them off my porch, drowning raccoons. I've heard of.
Yeah,
and that's like, God, me heart. But, it's got to be done. You got to protect your vegetables, I guess.
Well, they're little vermins. They get in your trash is the biggest problem with raccoons. And the other biggest problem, like, I keep going back to the thumbs, but that's why they get in so much. They're able to grab hold of things and rip it apart. They can get out of those cat traps because they just kind of...
Yeah, they can get out of traps and stuff easily, yes, with the thumbs.
Exactly. So those thumbs.
All right, Kendra, have you been bad?
Bad enough.
It's time to get bad. Yes, it's time for your bad movie review. One movie every single week. It's a terrible movie usually. We might expand it later. Rated by Kendra, reviewed by Kendra. This week, one option remains. What was it?
Creep Show.
Where did you get the idea for Creep Show?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad.
Daddy's pick.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, what year did it come out?
1982.
Okay.
And of course, I had to choose this when I found out it was directed by George Romero, written in part by Stephen King. This was actually the only film that George Romero did that he did not write. It was in collaboration with Stephen King. Apparently, they were very close buddies. And so
George Romero and Stephen King.
Yes, the king of the zombie lore and the king of horror literature.
Nice.
Good friends decided they wanted to make a movie, so they made 1982's Creep Show.
Nice.
Now, this was definitely in the vein of Twilight Zone, or it's really more Tales from the Crypt. Ripped a lot, in my mind, off of Tales from the Crypt. It had that like comic book motif, which was awesome.
What does that mean, comic book motif?
So it starts
What do you mean
out,
when you say these words?
Well, it starts out literally with...
Oh, like these? Like this?
Yes,
like,
it's got like script, and it actually does little cartoon
Bam.
segues in between the...
Whoosh.
So like at one point, it starts out with a little kid and his dad's mad at him because you're not looking at these stupid horror movie cartoons. And so he has like a comic book that's
He's mad
scary.
at the kid for looking at him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has a comic book and he throws it out. And so you're in the garbage with the comic book as it's flipping through the entire movie.
Oh my.
So
okay.
The comic book motif was consistent throughout. It was done cute, and they had an original artist from back when the horror comic book genre was at its heyday, who actually illustrated a lot of those original cartoons. So he was the cartoonist behind these, which is why it was so good. Now Romero, in Romero way, he shows you everything, which can be both good and bad. So what I mean by good is like in one of the first segments that it was called Father's Day, and he shows you the zombie and he shows it to you over and over and over again, and it never gets old. Every time he shows you the zombie, it's creepy and it's startling, and it was really good. Then the bad
Mission accomplished. Creep is in the title.
The bad was the bugs scene. So there was a scene where a guy was really like scared of bugs, and at the end the bugs are like coming up out of his body and stuff, and so it's very obvious.
I did see the bugs. That was bad.
They
That's
have like a
bugs.
mannequin, and it looks utterly fake. It looks completely different than the actor, actually. So I just thought it looked ridiculous. So some of the graphics were better than others. Of course, Romero does a good job with the zombies. Of course.
Okay.
You know.
I don't know, of course, but he's done zombies before.
Well, he is Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Return of the...
Is that a zombie? Is that the one?
That's the one. That's the one that you keep seeing in the first vignette that is so good.
And this scared you every time you saw it?
Every time you saw him, because he was like the mean alcoholic dad, and she actually murdered him, well, not accidentally. He was just a horrible person, and so... she murdered him.
So you say there's 5 shows in the Creep Show?
Yes, it was all these like little standalone horror.
Kind of like the Twilight Zone movie, how it kind of hit on like 5 different things.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It reminded me like it was like each episode of Tales from the Crypt, and it had like a scary skeleton guy that kind of was in between, also guiding the story with that comic book motif, you know, as the comic books flipped.
Right.
I would say that I also enjoyed the Stephen King. So there it is. It was. AJ doesn't like bugs.
Oh, they got me. That got me. I didn't expect you to give me a clip so graphic.
Yes.
Holy cow. Kendra.
Yes. So that was not the best.
Please, aidez-moi.
Graphics.
Oh Jesus, that was gross.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of gross.
That's the 1980s horror for you. It's like not scary. It's just gross. Like I like the thrill. I don't like the
it just shows it to you. Well, I mean,
that's what you said. You said he shows it, and he's showing it.
That's what Romero does.
God,
he usually
I got
does
it again. God, how many times did you put this clip in there?
Just the once.
Okay, good. Bad bugs, and then enjoyed.
Well, click on Stephen King and his overacting.
Oh,
that was what I enjoyed most out of this entire thing. If there was anything that made this movie worth it, it was watching Stephen King as his character,
as like an old dumb farmer.
Exactly, he is an old dumb farmer. He finds a meteor in his little vignette, and he knows that it's going to make him rich. You know, he'll take it to the university with them smart folk, and he'll give him lots of money. So he touches the meteor, and it like pretty soon afterwards, it starts turning him into a plant, and that's his whole storyline. It's just Stephen King for the most part, but his overacting, he was very cartoony. I guess he was told by Romero to play it like Wile E. Coyote, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and his faces also reminded me very Jim Carrey like, with the overextending of his jaw and his teeth, and he kind of
it's called overacting.
Yeah, it was overacting. It was great to watch because Stephen King is so beloved.
You know, it's good. That's better. That kind of acting is better for the theater than for the camera. But he's, it's Stephen King. What are you gonna do? It's very beautiful. It's beautiful to see him on screen.
And that's also what I mean about these comic book motifs cartoons. It has the daydream with the little bubble, so it feels like sometimes the setting also is very set up in a very cartoon or like a comic book way. It doesn't
set you up for things to go really, really bad and then really, really gruesome. Like, oh, it's a happy, campy movie.
Well, and this does very again seem like a child's horror genre where, like, if you've got a kid that it's a little bit scary, and I don't know how much a kid might take this, but with the cartoon motif in it, it felt very kid friendly, and it felt like something that kids would enjoy if they were like super into scary movies. All right,
whoa, Kendra, we've got a lot of them here. We've got the whole gang showing up for Starship Trooper ratings here.
Well,
but let's get to it. Well, how many do we have today? It leaked.
Did it?
The 5th Starship Trooper leaked.
Did he?
It's okay. Well, no, it doesn't ruin anything for me, but it's fine. We'll get to him. If you know who it is, man, you got the inside track.
That's it.
The internet shall be abuzz.
So I had to take away points for the sound quality was just horrible. Okay. I lost entire sentences in this movie. Okay. I lost entire things. So of course we rate this on a 1 to 5 Starship Trooper rating. Kendra, do we have a 1 Starship Trooper on this? We have 1 Starship Trooper. Go ahead and bring us out, Johnny Rico. Thank you, Johnny Rico. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Now, the sound was bad. So what made it the 1 star? We'll give it something that was good. Well, I mean, the good was Stephen King and his overacting. That immediately won me over. Was Stephen King 2 points good enough to give you 2 stars? He was. Okay. Dizzy Flores joined the floor. Bang, she's there, Dizzy Flores. All right, the power of Stephen King, George Romero combined, was it enough to give us a 3 Starship Trooper rating out of 5? Kendra, 3? Yes, Carmen Ibanez. Thank you for joining us. Carmen Ibanez showing up once again, promoting this movie as it's kind of a good to see movie now. You would rate this a 3. I would rate this a 3 out of 5. This is that is the score. 4? No, okay. No, this is 3 out of 5. And I feel bad for continuing to give 3 out of 5s. I was gonna say. I feel like I'm keep middle of the roading it. You better tell them. But in this case, the sound quality was so bad. I wanted it to be higher. I thought it was gonna be higher. With the power of Romero and King, I thought for sure. I was like, I'm gonna give this a 4. There's no way. Yeah, no. And it was just not 3.
So there you
It
have
was
it.
a 3.
It's okay. Well, kids, Creep Show up for 3. You got your suggestions. Send them in to Kendra. You can always write us on via our webpage, shootthemessenger.net. It works, right? They can say, hey, want to contact you and go.
And contact us that way.
Contact us and tell us which movie. I think we might go a little more campy with the thing. I don't know. We got an infinite amount of movies to choose from. But if you really want to see a movie reviewed, get in touch with us. Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, good. Moving on. What do we have next on the agenda here, Kendra?
Well, the dunk, your favorite dunk.
Okay, hold on, time out.
Your favorite.
Don't give it away.
It's your favorite.
Okay, well, this, what I love about this is that it's been circulating the internet for a while, and finally I get to bring it to the forefront. Sometimes you'll see something, and then 6 months later it'll hit Facebook or whatever. You're like, man, I saw that so long ago. And if you're not familiar with this, or Mormons in general, Mormons go, around the neighborhood, they knock and they say hello and they let you, talk to them, right? Mormon missionaries, right? They talk to you, they're trying to convert you.
Sharing the love of Jesus is what they're doing.
And these guys were sharing the love of Jesus. And you can see at the bottom right of my screen, playing basketball with the locals. They saw them there. Of course, the Mormons are warming up and taking some shots, kind of bad shots. But what these guys didn't know is that these Mormon kids are actually like straight ballers. And it's the biggest, like, kind of, you don't know who you're playing until, like, it's all over, right? And it's good to see. Pick-up game of basketball, guys being guys. And you just saw the first dunk take place there, and they start to realize something's up. The Mormons had taken their practice shots and missed a few, right?
Yeah, so they feel safe.
Yeah, they feel safe. Well, the first dunk just happened. They're kind of like, whoa, what's up? And then they go, they shoot, they get blocked. The jump shot gets blocked. Dishes it out. And, the guy puts a little shake and bake. Quick layup. Okay, good. More points for the Mormon missionaries. Okay, they're kind of shooting back and forth. And then they're calling this the dunk that ended racism. Coming up here. I'm going to turn up the sound and just let you enjoy this one.
Everybody's running
and
around.
Those that clear the benches. You got the guy that's doing laps around the court. Can hardly keep his composure. They can't. They end the game. They can't even continue the game.
That's all,
after
folks.
that is it, folks. And they call it the dunk that ended racism. One more time for the listeners. Wait, this is gonna be the layup first. One more time for the listeners. What gives the dunk that ended racism here? Oh, I just love it so much. It's like, unexpected things.
So, I'm sure having the fact that you've played in Gus Smacker, you've played basketball for years, right?
I loved basketball. It's not a short man's sport. Basketball is amazing. I love to play it. Don't like to watch it anymore. But yeah.
Well, you said it's one of those instances where you don't know who you're playing until it's almost too late. Now, have you had any instances in sports?
No, not even in sports and dancing and stuff like that. You'll show up to like I'm sure people have it with me, or when they see you. Or when I was on tour, like you would go and you'd show up and people don't know your special skill or they don't know what makes you unique. And maybe you're a good basketball player, or maybe you're good at, maybe you're an officer and you get so much more respect when you're in uniform. But it's just like one of those things that once people see you do your craft, sometimes they kind of change how they behave around you.
Yeah.
Right. So they kind of understand who you are. And one of the guys converted to Mormonism. One of the guys converted. Yeah, no, one of the guys converted, and that's the silver lining of this story. But it's always cool to see that. I would show up at rehearsals and auditions with these dancers that were amazing, not knowing that they're just blow your socks off, incredible. I was sitting next to you the whole time, and so yeah, it does happen from time to time. Yeah. You have any experiences with that?
I mean, I can't say nothing as clear as that. I mean, of course, I've had instances where you're sitting next to an actress and you're like, oh, you're really good, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh crap, you're pretty amazing.
What are you doing talking to
me? Like, wow, will you be my friend now?
Yeah.
All right, time to get into your weekly dose of Elon Musk. All right, let's start here. Israel, they're joining the rush to the moon. Elon Musk is bringing them to the moon via a lunar lander with the SpaceX launching Falcon 9 rockets. How about that? Israel getting into the game, right? They blasted off. They're not going to be there for a while, but they blasted off Thursday night. It's Israel's first lunar lander mission, and it will make the Jewish state only the 4th nation to achieve controlled touchdown on the moon's surface. So moon stuff still going on, which is crazy.
Well, there's always more to learn about space.
I guess so. I mean, every country's got to be up there. When are the countries when are the people on the moon gonna be like, nah, we're not affiliated with each country? I mean, we did it with England and France, back in the day.
But it took 300 years after colonization, right?
Okay.
So I would put the 300-year mark. That's when an independent rebellion typically will occur. So 300 years of stability and growth, and then the economy is good enough, and then it'll be 300 years of them developing their little moon world, and they'll be their own economy. You can read sci-fi books about it.
I like it.
Sci-fi authors have been writing about the moon colony since the 60s.
Yes, it's there. It's there. This lunar lander is great. The Falcon rockets, the Falcon 9 rockets, also landed straight up as they do. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be able to reuse those. So the whole thing went swimmingly.
Very well.
Okay.
The robotic lander, I find this interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce it right. It's Bereshit, Beresheet, and it's Hebrew for "in the beginning" is the name of Israel's lunar lander.
In the beginning. They got to name it something crazy like that. Okay. Elon Musk more. It's not all good news is good news. He's closing factories, and he's got AutoNation. AutoNation, they're online buying and selling of cars. Tesla doesn't do AutoNation because they do everything in house, right? But this guy's on his way out, and I had his name here. What's his name in the Ligma that we got?
Rivian?
Yeah. No. Rivian's the truck that's gonna start. This guy is the president, Mike Jackson, and he's discussing Tesla in the state of and why he doesn't like Tesla. What's happening? Because they promised a car at $35,000, and they're not really pumping it out at that price, even though they're oversold.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting people Teslas for $35,000 right now. Model 3s. They're going for more like $42,000. So you're paying $7,000 over. You have to have all the options. And here he is explaining that. Here's a little bit from Squawk Box. This is the Mike, what's his name? Mike Jackson, right, from AutoNation CEO. And he'll be stepping down pretty soon here.
This point on the Model 3, if you're skimming the top like he is now, he's only building if you spec it out above $50,000, you may be okay. It'll build it for you in 2 months. If you want one at the $35,000, he may never build it for you.
Okay.
Mike, the criticism is going to come from people who say, of course, you and Bob are going to criticize this because you're the old line industry that's threatened by his new approach.
I am totally excited about selling electric vehicles. We are all in.
But Tesla doesn't use auto dealers.
Oh, that's fine. I never fought against
Watch
that.
him lie.
That's his call.
Look at the look.
AutoNation has, we're big in California. We could have fought it. We didn't. We didn't challenge him in Florida. AutoNation has never challenged Tesla's distribution model. They're free to sell them whatever way they want. That's their business. If you're saying, like Lutz's point, is this a sustainable business model? I think when you're skimming the Model 3 with a bait and switch strategy, maybe it works, but there's going to be a day of reckoning.
So, I mean, I don't feel there's a lot of criticism from these auto industry makers that he's not fulfilling the promise of an affordable electronic car. And I feel like they are kind of nickel and diming people and being like, oh, $7,000, it's so unreasonable. And it's like, well, yeah, it's $7,000 more dollars, but still that is a way more affordable electric vehicle than anything else that's been put out there previously.
Well, yeah, no, I'm glad to see you're kind of on my side of the argument. It's kind of like they feel like they couldn't get away with it, so why can Elon get away with it? They're like, why is he able to get away with it? It kind of feels a little bit
because
like that.
He's doing the cool stuff, guys. That's why he's doing the cool stuff.
The old guard, the new guard. And speaking of new guard, Amazon jumping into the electric vehicle industry, something that Elon Musk says is a good thing. But, you got your buddy Jeff Bezos. And now they've picked up, I think, like a $700 million contract in Detroit for trying to make these electric trucks. And they were, I think at the beginning of the last year, in November of 2018, they unveiled And I thought these trucks are sweet. The Rivian, I don't know how to pronounce it, Rivian, debuted at the auto show. Really cool to have like this through trunk space underneath the rear seats. There's a lot of, ingenious parts about storage in the front, storage in the back, because obviously there's no engine. Here you can see the spaces. See that through space? You can put your surfboards in there, bro.
Sweet.
Yeah, it
Super
says it can
sweet.
go up to 400 miles on a single charge. There's actually a flashlight in the door. So hopefully they kind of follow Tesla's lead on this and kind of innovate, reinvent these vehicles. But they say this is good for soccer moms. This is good for the job site. And it looks incredibly futuristic.
I mean, I think that this is, it's exciting to see that other companies are stepping forward with their models and their ideas. I think that the flashlight, though it's a small detail, those small little details, they'll make a big difference in the futuristic car market because, $7,000, if you're paying, I'm now referring to the Tesla thing, but if you're paying as much as you are for a futuristic electric vehicle, it might sway a buyer.
Rihanna showed up to this event back in November 27th. She was there. They say the biggest features of this are the built-in flashlight, the tunnel that we talked about, the front trunk, since there's no engine, right? There's a side step. The entirety of the tunnel, there's a little door that opens downward, becomes a seat, right? So you can have a special seat. There's also that fold-down tailgate. I don't know if you saw that in the intro. It folds all the way down. So there's things going on with rival truck companies, rival electric car companies. But, Tesla is starting to put that infrastructure in. Even in a small town like Ludington, Michigan, there was still a spot to charge Teslas at their local Meijer store.
Well, and Ludington, that's not the only impact Tesla had on Ludington,
right,
with the cuts and the impact that had on the factories in town. So.
Right. Was not excited as this baby right here. This is a pure epic palate cleanse right here.
All right.
I saw this and I want to bring smiles to your faces, but you want to see a baby that gets into it right here. Here we go. Screw it. Yeah. And it's like one of those ones that's better every single loop, and I just see he grows and the intensity by the end,
the eyes, the baby's just got raw emotion.
I was reading a book one time about a guy remembered himself as a baby, right? And I could remember when I was a child. It was very ethereal, but he remembered the power of his voice as a kid and not knowing, and all of a sudden he could scream. And so how babies just they find out they can make this massive noise. This is this kid discovering it right here. So there you go. And I thought that was a cool palate cleanse. We'll do one more because we're rounding out the show pretty much. We talked about Ligma earlier. If you don't know what Ligma is, here's Star Fox 64 to explain it to you.
Eyes open, 4 enemies ahead. I've got him.
You play Star Fox?
Careful. I heard Andros gave his troops Ligma.
Ligma? What's Ligma?
Slippy, no! Ligma balls!
There you go. So if you didn't know what Ligma is, brought to you by Slippy and Falco there from Star Fox 64.
Very good.
Yay! And finally, man, the bidet story. Are we at the bidet story?
We are.
Do I have a link for the actual quote that I had? You talk about wet wipes and sanitation.
Well, I mean, it's become a problem in
it really has.
communities.
What
People
happens?
are using these wet wipes because they're advertised as flushable, and I don't think they're saying biodegradable, but they definitely say flushable. But that's not true. It's a lie. These are clogging up sewer systems. They're causing big problems in some of these bigger cities. Like, people are even putting out statements. Some community leaders are requesting, please stop using the wet wipes.
So what are you gonna do? You want to change the way you clean yourself. Okay.
Well, you want to improve your cleanliness.
So you don't want to wipe anymore because wiping kind of just smears everything around.
Yeah. I mean, when you wash your hands, you don't just rinse your hands,
Okay. So you switch over to the wet wipes, but then you find out the wet wipes are bad for the environment. So then you move over to the bidet, right?
Yes. The Europeans have it figured out. You follow in the footsteps of the stars that have already embraced the bidet, like Chuck from Stuff
Have you ever
Should
used
Know,
one?
Or no, I haven't. I was too embarrassed to use a bidet when I was in Europe, and I regret it now. I really wish that I had used a bidet because I really want one. I keep talking about purchasing one, and every paycheck, I'm like, I'm just going to set aside $40 for a bidet, and then I never do it.
Well, okay, so Shroud is a famous streamer. He's like the god of video games, right? The Michael Jackson of first-person shooters. Bought a bidet, okay? He $20,000 toilets and his bidet. Here's Shroud's review.
So I sprayed water in my butthole the other day for the first time. I was a little disappointed because I was expecting more strength. It's more of like a gentle stream, you know? I tried upping the strength and everything. I tried even overclocking it. Nah, man. Not enough strength. I really want it to be a straight fucking jet stream into my asshole, you know? More of a light little spray.
Yeah, I do want the jet stream as well. I picture like what his is set up is like that drinking fountain at school that has no pressure. It just kind of hits it. You're like, you're gonna need industrial strength power on my bidet, please.
They do say that it's supposed to be adjustable, the pressure and the stream.
Well,
and
$20,000 toilet, you kind of leave it up to this. But here we go. We found the bidet. Oh, excuse me. We found the bidet for you. It's the Luxe Bidet Neo 120 for $34 and your Amazon Prime. Make sure you subscribe to Truce Now on Twitch using your Amazon Prime membership. It's free, and it helps me out. Deluxe 120 bidet, self-cleaning nozzle, fresh water, non-electric mechanical bidet toilet. And they say this has enough power to pressure wash the paint off your house come springtime, come spring cleaning time. So would you be interested in getting a bidet and or reviewing it?
100%.
Yeah.
200 billion %.
What about the hookups? See, okay, I see the hookups. Like you got to like kind of get it to where the water is too.
Well,
where the water comes
you're
out.
supposed to be able to. Most of these you can connect simply to your toilet. It's not supposed to be challenging. Many of these even advertise saying that it's quick and easy installation. This one says includes everything you need, including tools.
So it's $34.50, but if you can get it, it's $34.50. You can get it used for $150. I don't understand that. But look at the pressures, though. Low, you got like boom, boom. You got low, medium,
if you're
medium,
worried
high, and
about
high.
Sanitary protection, it does have self-cleaning features that sanitizes the nozzle and retracts the nozzle when it's not in use. So when you're not using the spray, it's up inside of its own little protective case, and then when you go to press the button, it emerges from its little protective case, and then it comes out and squirts.
You're like a little expert right now.
I
don't know.
Been shopping around for bidets.
Here's the fear: is like shoving things in or spraying bacteria. You know, I heard you shouldn't drink toilet water or water from your bathtub. Okay, I think they're different than the water you get out of your faucets. That's what I remember.
That sounds like some conspiracy theory shit.
I remember, and I'll have to double check this. Remember for next week that the toilet water and your bathtub water is actually different than the water you get on your faucets. Am I wrong?
I feel like you're so wrong.
I feel like it has more bacteria in it, and I just worry about spraying toilet water into. I think it's different from the actual source, and I guess there would have to be two different sources of fresh water, so that would be incorrect. You know, when you're camping. You ever been to a campground and you have shower water but you also have the drinking water, and you're not supposed to drink the shower water to fill up like your mobile home or your motorhome.
It's not potable.
Potable?
Drinkable.
It's not drinkable. It's not drinkable. It's not potable.
Yeah,
What are we on Jeopardy now?
Well, there's a difference between, you know, being like, all the time I see in these campgrounds, they have like not potable, but you can use it for like.
But don't drink it. So that's my point here. If it has more bacteria in it and you're spraying it and a little bit gets inside the inside.
I just Googled, by the way, and yes, the water is the same as other faucets and appliances in the house.
Okay, so everyone just got so much dumber by listening to me.
Yes.
Shut up. You're not supposed to agree with that.
Well, in that particular instance, like, no, your toilet water is just water. It's you know, it really depends on how clean you keep your toilet. That depends upon how dirty the water inside your toilet is. So if you clean your toilet regularly, it's not any dirtier than any other water in your home.
Still not. it.
Now,
Yeah, I'm not
and
risking it.
again, that bidet, like I said, it's the nozzle that sprays the water, which it's connected to the back of your tub. Not like again, it's
Right,
not using the
it's not
stuff
coming
in
from
your
from the
but
bowl.
so it comes out only when it's in use, and then
Yeah.
it goes back in, and it sterilizes itself.
We know that. Yes, I
So-
think we're good. We're good on bidets.
Well,
We're, we'll get to
you're-
more bidet talk when we do the bidet experiment. Okay, we're gonna have to save it. I agree.
I'm excited.
It's a shortened show this week, and it's okay. What do we do about 45 minutes right now? We're at.
Yeah.
So thanks to everyone who watches the show, supports the show, support local theater, support local arts in your area. We plan on bringing you a lot more topics and maybe some pre-recorded videos. We've been talking about that too. Obviously, I've been very busy with doing the show that we're doing right now. And, it gets crunch time around the edge of shows. If you ever known a director or anybody who does these large live shows, getting around the event time, things usually get a little crazy. I don't. I hold it together. That's just me.
well,
But,
well, you do, and
we invest more time.
You do,
We
and
invest more time.
the well that I was going to say is they often say, the week leading up to a performance is called Tech Week. I always lovingly call it Hell Week.
Yeah.
Because that's the busiest week of any show. It's the last week before performance. You still got a week before that happens, but
Yeah, hopefully I won't smash my face into anything else on the stage, and that would be great. So it's been a pleasure, Kendra. It's been good.
always a pleasure.
We did the show. We'll have more show for you next week, keeping you up to date what's going on online, on the web, and we don't have a niche.
well,
These are things where we need a niche, like Shafe, like the podcast, How to Sleep Better. I'm reading instruction booklets, and
It helps
you're
people
going
sleep
to
at
fucking
night.
sleep. That's what we're doing. Maybe we can be like, we're gonna wake you up and give you stuff about cats. I don't know. I think it's too. I don't want to have to see. I don't want to confine myself to doing cats. I just want it to be an entertaining web show that you can watch and not feel like you have to invest your whole day in it. Right?
I think
watch
that-
us 45 minutes, get done with it. Bam.
the lower pressure it is, the better it is for us, because all that I really want to do in this podcast is to have something that is enjoyable to listen to. And if we're having fun, I hope that
Did you have fun?
I had fun today.
I had fun
think
today.
that it was
and
it
we
was
fixed
chill.
the fucking mics, so hopefully you won't be echoing into God knows. If it's not fixed, we'll fix it next week. We'll keep building, and plus I like the little squares in the back. We
I
changed
want to
that
add
up.
more to these in
I
the
got a
future.
globe because I'm,
A man of the world.
brains and smart people have globes. So there's that, and we brought the cats back. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll catch you next time. Say goodbye,
Thank you
Kendra.
so much to Third Coast Gypsy Jazz for our sound effects, and catch us out online, shootthemessenger.net, iTunes, Spotify, Patreon, twitch.tv/Truce Now, Saturdays usually at 2 o'clock.
There it is. Join us, join the brigade, and we'll keep fighting for
Messaging.
the message. The message is be righteous.
Be real.
Be righteous, be real. We're out. Yeah, I think that works. Whatever.